Alright, so I'm finally doing some brews with these kettles indoors now. I was kind of putting it off, I guess. I was a little nervous about whether it was going to work out and whether it'd be leaking or anything like that. So I got parts from BrewHardware.com, and I think this is Bobby. He's the guy who designed the heating elements, and actually when I called a couple times when I had questions, he was the one who answered. And it's nice talking to someone who designed the product rather than some employee who might halfway understand it. So he was real helpful. And actually, most of with the exception of the bulkheads for the thermometers, I think everything on these kettles are from BrewHardware.com. Anyways, so no leaks. My brew day is a little hectic because I naturally carbonate the beer in kegs, and I'm doing 20-gallon batches, so those two beer kegs each have 10 gallons, which will go to those pinlock kegs, and I use dry malt extract in place of dextrose. So I gotta make a big batch of that up and put it into pinlock kegs, and then siphon the beer from the kegs into the pinlock kegs and pressurize them. And I wait until brew day to empty those because I've been reusing yeast. I'm not necessarily recommending this, nor am I discouraging this. I've been doing this probably since about May, and right now it's December. I just leave the beer in those, and then leave a little bit in the bottom when I siphon it out and refill it. So obviously that means I haven't cleaned them. So just take that for what it's worth. But I've been doing this for a little while now, and it's worked just fine for me. But anyhow, these heat up very fast. Much better than the Northern Brewer propane burners that I had. And actually, these stands are the stands from those propane burners. I just removed the heating element from them. And actually the water got too hot. I believe it's about it's 160 right now. I can't see that. 162. So I flipped the switches and turned the power off. I'll wait for it to cool down a little bit. Then I'll add my grain bags and grains. I'm using 2-row and this Hefeweizen malt from Bamberg, Germany, fatherland. I had had about 18 pounds of this left, so I also went and bought 18 pounds of the German wheat, and both have already been milled. And actually, I think I might have a little more than 18 pounds of this, but no big deal. Probably quite a bit more. I'm not quite going for a Hefeweizen, but I wanted to do like a 50-50 with wheat and 2-row. And then I'll be I'm going to go with whole hops this time. One bag of each of these, or one bag of this from each kettle. Sometimes I like to use whole hops more than pellet hops. Just seems to impart the flavor better sometimes. Yeah, like I said, I was a little nervous about this project, getting it going, but it seems to be going pretty well so far. And having those just to turn the power off is great. This contraption I've got going on here, I'd originally pictured it being on the other side of this room, so I had these casters for it, but with this crossbar right there, right here, kind of got in the way, so I put it behind these. And I didn't like the Harbor Freight chain hoist, so I made these myself, which they're a lot sturdier than they really need to be. But I mean, no complaints there, I guess. The pulley ones you can get for brewing a bag online are like maybe $8 or $10, and they look kind of flimsy. Whereas these ones are all rated for a couple 100 pounds, so I'm sure they will hold up to these grain bags, just as long as my knot tying is good enough. We'll see. And I gotta try and make sure I can have that tied off enough to hold the bag while it drains out. And I guess for the time being, I'll just put the brew in a bag in a bucket, haul it out, and then dump the grains out the compost pile. But it's kind of nice having pretty much everything self-contained in this room. The only drawback is I've got to haul buckets of water into here, and when it's 20 gallons of water, that takes a little bit of time. So eventually, as I've said, I'm going to try and put a sink right about there, so I can have water in this room. Especially since I can't really use a work chiller. I mean, I suppose I could drag a garden hose into here, but I'd rather not. I'll probably just have to open windows while it's cold out right now and wait for it to cool that way. Not the end of the world, is what it is.